What is going on, YouTube? Thanks for coming back to the channel. In today's video, we will be talking about the main reasons that you're not building muscle and the main reason that you're stuck in a plateau. And I'm going to help you overcome these things so that you can start building the muscle you want. You can start, putting on that lean muscle so that you look like an absolute savage. So let's get right into it. Now, just to give you some insight into, kind of where I'm coming from, my background, I worked with several men in their 30s and 40s at an in-person gym over in the suburbs of Boston, outskirts of Boston, I should say. And most of these clients, I noticed a few key variables. So this is what I'm speaking on. And, these are the clients I work with most of the time. Although I have worked with, and I do still work with other clients, that's who I work best with, because these are the people that were coming to me, asking me to help with their problems. And I figured out a couple of solutions that actually work. And one that I'm big on, that, I'll start the video off, is just saying, getting their metabolism in check. Number one biggest thing that I think people deal with, especially as they get into their 30s and 40s. Now, again, I'm speaking on this topic because I've worked with so many of these people and I've heard their feedback and they've told me these things, right? But what I found is that these people, their metabolism slows down with age. As it slows down, they think that they can still, get by with the same nutritional strategy that worked for them when they were in their 20s, and it usually doesn't work that way. And so they're following the wrong strategy. Their metabolism is slowing down and they're not building the muscle they want. And in addition to that, they're not using the exercises that they should be given their goals. They're doing exercises that they used to do when they were young and wondering why they're not making the progress. So for example, a lot of these clients that I work with, they in their 20s were doing squats, deadlifts, bench press, and now their goal is, just looking more aesthetically pleasing. They want less body fat, they want more muscle mass, and they don't want to be, this bodybuilder dude that's jacked out of his mind, but they just want to be in good shape, right? And so they're noticing that, okay, like we don't need to be focusing on these exercises that a bodybuilder trains like, right? We can do what's going to yield us the best result if we have the right structure. And so that's the main thing, is having the right structure. I think a lot of people, they get into this point where they don't have the structure and their metabolism slows down. So it's very challenging to make progress. Now, if you have your metabolism down pat, right, like you have the correct amount of food and you have a good strategy in place, then that's going to kill two birds with one stone. And I'm going to include those in the first thing that is holding people back, because I think that is half and half, right? You need your nutrition on point, you need your training on point, right? Like if you're eating good in the gym, you can't even answer that question, because eating good to what, right? Like you need it relative to a goal, so you need to tie it to something. So if you have a nutritional strategy, that strategy is yielding you some sort of outcome and you're working towards that, right? But whatever that outcome is, you also need your training program tied in accordingly, right? I hope that makes sense for some of you guys. And next thing that I want to talk about is the other thing that I think is holding a lot of people back, again, especially men in this age range, is they're just not consistent with their routine. Now, when I say not consistent, I don't mean that they're not, they're not working, right? Working on getting better. A lot of these individuals I worked with but they weren't doing the right things consistently. And so what that looks like is, a lot of these people that I've worked with, a lot of my previous clients, or people that I worked with before coming on and working with me, they were doing, 4, 5, 6 days at gym, a week in the gym, but they weren't doing everything right. And it's like, you could be doing 3 days or maybe even 2 and be making far more progress and getting the results you want. But you're not, you're kind of just like going at this weird pace where you're doing all these random tasks all the time rather than just doing a few like key variables, executing those and working on them, right? Because I think a lot of times people work on goals and they're not directly correlated to where they want to go, right? They might have this goal of getting fit, and so they're in the gym exercising all the time, but maybe you're exercising incorrectly and that is not proper for your goals. So you're really just wasting time and you're going to be more frustrated. So you might as well have the structure, knowing that, like, okay, a person that wants to, like, when you figure out what your goal is, you need to narrow it down to something specific, whether it's lose body fat and just lose weight, whether it's tone up and get defined, whether it's a combination, whatever the case may be, whether it's just gain muscle, whatever the case may be, you need a specific approach, and you can't just be going in the gym, mindlessly, not knowing what you're doing and not knowing why. You need a systematic approach that allows you over time to continue doing these things repetitively, taking data points. So like where your nutrition is, calories, protein, fats, carbs, how much cardio, if any, you're doing, water intake, these sorts of things. And especially, in the gym, like what are you actually doing when you're in there? Because a lot of people, they say, oh, I worked out hard this week. Like, okay, what's hard? Like maybe you did a lot, but like, did you actually do more than you did the previous week? Or did your body just perceive it as hard because, you were tired and maybe you were drained from energy one week, and that workout that was actually easier relative to the previous week, it was less weight, for example, less reps, less sets, and you didn't track any of these things, so you don't know, but it very likely is. But because, you maybe have less energy because you were stressed out or whatever, or didn't get enough sleep, that workout seems harder, and now you cut yourself off at that limit. Now, we're just in the ocean throwing golf balls at that point, bro. When we can start to, actually track these things and have structure over workouts, exercises, how we're doing these things, and actually progressing. That's the name of the game, bro. It's progression. You need to progress in your workouts if you want to make progress. And if you don't do that, there's not this stagnation point that occurs. I think a lot of people think of it as I'm in a stagnation or I'm in this plateau. And really what it is you're taking a step back. Now, maybe you're holding on to more of the muscle than you thought, but you're actually taking a step back. Your metabolism is starting to slow down as you get into those worse off states. And so if you're always aiming for better, then you keep yourself at that primed condition. Now, if you don't, you start to slowly fall back down. And so I think if you can have the progression in the gym and like structure and knowing what you're doing, that's going to be super, super helpful. So know what you're doing in the gym when it comes to your workouts, it comes to your nutrition, stay consistent. And the last thing that I really want to end on is mindset. I think a lot of these people that I spoke with, they did not believe it was possible for them to, achieve a specific look or get to a specific body fat percentage or build a specific amount of muscle because, their age, for example, or because of the commitment, or because they didn't want to have to eat bland foods, which you don't, by the way. But like a lot of these people, they hold these limiting restraints on themselves that don't allow them to take the actions necessary to keep up with these goals. And so oftentimes with these clients, I would say like straight up, hey, you have to choose. Are you happy with where you're at and content with the actions you're taking? Or would you rather be taking the actions and getting closer? Like it is a formula. People then have the decision to make for themselves. Like, are they going to choose the harder route that's going to get them the results? Or are they going to be somewhere in the middle? And somewhere in the middle is the worst spot to be because you're getting frustrated for not seeing the results, but you're also not putting all of the work in. And so like, that's one thing I noticed is like, the belief. These people are like, okay, like I don't believe I can get into shape, or I don't believe I can do X, Y, and Z. So because of that, screw it. I'm not going to, prioritize my nutrition when I'm outside of the gym, right? When I'm not working with John, I'm going to eat X, Y, Z extra because it doesn't matter. But you're consistently putting those negative habits in. You're consistently doing a small thing that doesn't matter that much. But over time, it matters. And you're consistently doing this thing and you're breaking your discipline down, meaning you're dwindling it away. You're telling yourself like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And you're eventually making worse off decisions as you start to slowly drift away from this healthy lifestyle that you want, that will ultimately allow you to achieve the goals you want. But people don't think of it as a big deal. And it's good to have balance. But you want to have a strategic approach. You need to know where you're going, bro. You need a roadmap, not just getting in the car and driving wherever. Like, no, have maps, know where you're going. And you can drift away at times, yes. But like so many people, they're in this drifting, stagnating spot where, again, not even stagnating, declining. And because of that, then they just get frustrated and they give up, or they try a bunch of things and they don't see the results they want. And they try fasting, they try keto maybe, they try restricting themselves, and it always comes back to haunt them. And these sorts of things are just like things you don't want to have to deal with. You want an approach that you can start from day one, like today, bro, and continue, or maybe like tomorrow, go grocery shopping and like start tomorrow, and then like continue for the rest of your life. Like these habits that you can actually stick with. You don't want something that's not going to work. And it's going to be very, very frustrating to figure out what that approach is for you if you don't even know where you want to go. Like, how are you going to get somewhere if you don't know what the destination looks like? And I'm not going to even use any analogy on this one because you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, and I know that for a fact. But like, if you want a six-pack, bro, and you want 8% body fat, for example, then like, that's your goal right there. And now you know, okay, these are the things I need to do to get my body fat to this percentage, to get my abs to pop, etc., right? Maybe your goal is, okay, I want to gain 10 pounds of muscle, right? Like I was chatting with a friend earlier. He wants to put in about 10 to 15 pounds of muscle. Like, okay, like what are the 2 to 3 key habits that are going to allow you to thread the needle and improve, those metrics? Like, what even are those metrics? Like, okay, your weight, okay, like that will be a good indicator of like where your weight is currently, and then where you want it to be. And like I said, 10 to 15 pounds. So he's trying to go from, say, 180 to 190, 195, right? So like, boom, that's 1. 2 is like, okay, like, are you fueling yourself enough calories to allow that growth to happen? And if so, like, where are you eating now? And what do we need to give you in terms of getting to that goal in the desired outcome in the span, right, of time? So like, that's a key metric there. And then the other one would be like, okay, where is your protein, for example? Are you giving yourself enough fuel to actively gain new muscle tissue and to maintain the muscle you're already holding on to? And are you doing X, Y, and Z to keep your fat low, right? To keep your hormones in check, to do all these things? Are you keeping your hydration on point so you're not bloating? Like, all these things. And so, like having that clear direction of like, this is where I want to go. Like, okay, boom, here are these roadmap steps. Just take them and go with them and follow them in the order. And now you can achieve that result. But so many people, they don't even know where they want to go. And so like, if you don't have the belief or the mindset or even the vision of where you want to go, then it's going to be very, very challenging. So find the vision, the belief, the mindset that allows you to take action. And as you start to take action, you can start to believe that it is possible for you, and you can start to envision yourself improving, succeeding, and doing better with this particular task. And with fitness, right, like, you can start to now understand, like, I am capable of making progress in the gym. I've made some tangible progress by doing the results. And that will happen in a couple weeks span, right? Now you can set the bar high, and I urge you to set the bar extremely high. Set the bar for where you would ideally love to be, and then shoot for that. Because worst case scenario, you don't hit it, you fall right below it. But you hit it if you follow the plan. So like, bro, set the bar high and just go for it, right? And so if you know, like, this is the goal I want, whether it be a tangible weight difference or it's I want a specific look, maybe like, I don't know, you have a picture in your phone of somebody that looks similar and you're like, I want to look like this person. Like something that allows you to take action towards that goal. That's going to be super helpful. Hopefully not challenging. So guys, like, have the mindset, have the belief, have these thought patterns, but most importantly, have an idea of where it is that you even want to go. And then once you do that, and you're taking these actions, you're starting to understand where that roadmap leads for you. And now as you improve these things, it becomes so much easier. But you need, again, the 3 things, which one is going to be the structure. So training and nutrition, knowing what you're doing, why you're doing it, and having it tailored to your specific, unique situation. That would be the first thing. Second thing, again, is, consistency, staying consistent with the plan, following through with the proper action steps and not going in circles, not, walking all over the place, taking a step forward, a step back. Like, no, staying consistent with these consistent actions over time, literally consistently, even though I use that word 3 times in the sentence. Like, bro, stay the path, right? Stay the route. So stay consistent. And then the final thing, again, is just literally have the vision and the belief and the mindset that you can do it. Because what most people don't understand is that what they put into their mind or whatever they put it into the world becomes true and starts to bear fruits. So if you truly believe that, like, I can achieve this goal, you will start subconsciously believing and thinking more thoughts related to that goal, and you will start to, take more actions because of that. Because our thoughts lead to us taking actions, right? And if our thoughts are triggered around some sort of emotion, right, then we're going to, take more actions around that. So if we can make the particular tasks that we're doing feel good, in the sense of like, okay, doing these tasks are going to allow us to yield this outcome and become this individual and achieve this tangible result and develop better skills and become a better person and, improve my confidence, improve my relationships, improve my health, all of these things, then like, why wouldn't I set the bar high, right? And then you do these things, and you literally can break it down to a simple math. just of figuring out where it is that you want to go, starting to take action so that you build up some confidence, but then also having the belief that you can achieve these things. And then from that point, just staying the consistent course with that proper structure, and you will achieve that goal you want. So thanks for watching this video. I'm going to wrap it up on that note. 3 things again that are holding you back, from not seeing the progress you want in the gym. You don't have the structure, be it A, your nutrition, or B, your training, or a mix of both, which is likely oftentimes the case. You don't have structure there. And number 2 is, you don't have that consistency to stay the plan, consistently do not just the steps, but the proper, correct steps over enough time span to see that data, analyze the data, make necessary changes to get the feedback so that you can tweak things, improve, because as your body always adapts, you need to give it the right stimuli. So stay the course, be consistent. And then again, final thing, is literally have the belief that it's possible, because if you don't have the belief, then you will start taking, actions subconsciously and having thoughts subconsciously. Even if you're trying to believe it's possible, if you truly don't believe it's possible, then you will take these subconscious actions and have these subconscious thought patterns that tie in with you not having that goal, you not having the skills, in not being able to work for you, you not being in the right fit, health, fitness not being the thing for you, your metabolism, for example, being too slow. All of these sorts of excuses, at the end of the day, that's what they are. But you will start to have more and more of these things if you associate with yourself the belief that it's not possible. But if you can break down why you don't believe it's possible, start taking action so you see tangible results. It is possible. You will see some tangible results if you, implement the proper structure. And then continue with that. Start to eventually shift, your beliefs, break them down, and you notice that these things are easy to accomplish. You just need the approach, the structure, you need to stay the course with it, and you need that proper mindset to make sure that you can do these things and maintain them. Because if you have the right mindset, you're going to become that healthy individual, have that lifestyle.